Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Right now, as you're watching this video, scientists are staring at something in space that shouldn't exist. An object called 3I Atlas just revealed its 12th impossible feature, and this time, 100 years of physics is completely failing to explain what we're seeing. Loeb just released the data, and honestly, this might be the strangest discovery yet. So here's what's happening. 7 different telescopes have been watching 3I Atlas, measuring exactly how fast it rotates. They got an incredibly precise number, 1 complete spin every 16.16 hours. This wasn't a one-time measurement either. Between July and August, they checked multiple times and got the same result every single time. Now, from those stunning images captured on November 9th, we can see these massive jets of gas shooting out from the object, stretching for millions of kilometers into space. Loeb's team calculated something fascinating. At the speed this gas is traveling, it takes roughly 1 full month for the material to journey from the surface all the way out to where we see the end of these jets. Think about that for a second. 1 entire month of travel time. During those 30 days, how many times does 3I Atlas complete a full rotation? Well, if it spins once every 16 hours, that's about 1.5 rotations per day. Over 30 days, we're looking at approximately 45 complete spins. Here's where basic physics tells us what should happen. When a spinning object in space ejects material, that material has to spread out as the object rotates underneath it. The gas keeps traveling in a straight line while the object keeps turning, so you end up with trails pointing in every direction. This is exactly how rotating comets behave in nature. But 3I Atlas is doing something completely different. The images show jets that look like laser beams, sharp, narrow, perfectly straight. Each jet points in one specific direction and maintains that exact trajectory across 1,000,000 kilometers of empty space. This should be physically impossible if the object is completing 45 full rotations while the gas is traveling outward. Now, Loeb has proposed 3 theories to explain this, and honestly, every single one of them has serious problems. Let's start with theory 1. Maybe the rotation slowed down dramatically since those July measurements. If the object barely spins anymore, then the jets wouldn't get smeared out by rotation, right? But here's the issue. When gas shoots off a comet unevenly, it actually creates torque that makes the comet spin faster, not slower. It's basic physics. Plus, we have images from November 11th showing the object is still completely intact and behaving normally. As far as anyone can tell, nothing catastrophic happened that would suddenly change its rotation speed. Theory 2 gets more creative. What if the surface has deep valleys surrounded by tall mountains? Picture this: ice sitting at the bottom of these valleys, and as the object rotates, the mountains block sunlight most of the time. But once per rotation, the sun angle lines up perfectly. Sunlight hits the ice for a brief moment, the ice heats up and shoots out gas, then gets shadowed again. This would create jets that pulse on and off every 16 hours instead of spraying constantly. Sounds reasonable, except it has a fatal flaw. If jets are pulsing on and off every 16 hours, and it takes the gas 1 full month to travel outward, you would see separated puffs of material spaced out along the jet like beads on a string. The observations show smooth, continuous jets instead of dozens of individual puffs. Theory 3 suggests maybe the object actually broke apart and we're looking at debris trails. But this one falls apart immediately because we've already confirmed the object didn't break. So, unless there was some massive mistake while capturing the images, Theory 3 fails completely. But before we get to Loeb's 4th theory, we need to talk about something crucial. This isn't the first impossible thing about 3I Atlas, not the 2nd or the 5th either. This is the 12th anomaly. The object contains way more nickel than any comet we've ever discovered. It only has 4% water content when comets are supposed to be mostly ice. Its light polarization pattern is unlike anything ever measured in space. It arrived from almost the exact same direction as the famous WOW signal from 1977. It brightened faster than any comet ever observed in human history, and it reflects light in ways that match absolutely no natural space rock we've studied. Every single time scientists think they've found a normal explanation, the next observation completely shatters it. First, everyone thought it was a normal comet. Then the data showed almost no water. Okay, maybe it's a dry comet then, but the polarization came back completely wrong. So maybe it's an asteroid, But asteroids don't produce jets stretching millions of kilometers into space. Every answer creates 3 new questions. And now we have this rotation problem stacked on top of everything else. The jets are doing something that normal physics says they absolutely cannot do. Right now, scientists are using spectrographs to figure out exactly what's inside those jets and measure how fast the material is actually moving. This data is absolutely critical because it's going to tell us if we're dealing with normal comet gas or something else entirely. So here's where things get really interesting. Loeb's 4th theory asks a question that sounds like science fiction. What if these jets aren't ice melting at all? What if they're actually technological thrusters? Think about how spacecraft work for a moment. When a spacecraft fires thrusters for navigation, those thrusters point in specific directions on purpose. Even if the spacecraft itself is tumbling and rotating through space, the thruster system maintains what's called global orientation. It knows which way is up and which way is down, relative to space itself, not relative to the spinning body. So the thrust always pushes in the correct direction no matter how the spacecraft is oriented at that particular moment. If 3I Atlas has some kind of propulsion system, that would completely explain why the jets stay pointed in fixed directions, despite the object rotating 45 times. The thruster system would fire at precisely the right moments to keep the overall thrust vectors constant in space. This is exactly what you would need if you were trying to navigate through the cosmos. In the next few weeks, we're getting that spectroscopy data, which will reveal what exactly is in those jets. We're also getting velocity measurements and mass calculations. If the data shows normal comet behavior, then scientists need to figure out what natural mechanism keeps jets perfectly straight despite 45 rotations. That would be a major physics discovery on its own. But if the measurements come back showing something that solar heating simply cannot produce, then we might be looking at the first object in human history that genuinely doesn't fit our understanding of how the universe works. Either way, what we're seeing right now should not be possible, and the answer is going to change everything. Let me know in the comments which theory you think makes the most sense, or if you have your own explanation. Drop a like if this blew your mind, and I'll see you in the next one.